Let me ask you something. How do you start your morning? Not just the routine. I'm talking about the mindset, the heartbeat, the fire in your chest before the world even knows you're awake. Because the way you start your morning, it matters. It sets the tone for everything that follows. And successful people, they don't leave that to chance. Let me walk you through 5 powerful habits of people who don't just wake up, they rise. Before the sun peaks over the horizon, before the phone lights up with messages and demands, before the noise of the world breaks through the silence, we have a moment to breathe, a moment to choose. And in that sacred sliver of time, there are those who do something powerful. They give thanks, not for something huge, not because everything is perfect, but because they are alive, because breath fills their lungs, because the gift of another day has been placed gently in their hands, that simple act of gratitude before the world takes its grip. It changes everything. See, gratitude isn't some empty gesture or soft sentiment. It's a decision to focus not on what's missing, but on what's already here. To say with bold conviction, I have enough, I am enough, and this day, this very day will be enough. That's not small, that's not weak, that's strength, that's courage, that's power. Because when you begin your day with gratitude, you're not starting with worry or fear or the weight of yesterday. You're starting with appreciation, and that shifts your entire posture toward life. You walk different when you're grateful. You talk different. You listen different. The noise, it gets quieter. The pressure, it finds purpose. Because when your heart is full, your spirit doesn't need validation from every corner of the world. You stop chasing and start standing. You stop comparing and start appreciating. And suddenly the same circumstances that used to weigh you down become the very platform you rise from. Gratitude brings clarity. It wipes the fog off the mirror so you can see yourself, not the version the world tells you to be, not the one molded by insecurity or fear, but your real self, your capable self, the one who's overcome, who's grown, who's still standing. And that vision, that's what fuels you. Because you're not moving through the day trying to prove something. You're moving with purpose, with peace, with presence. You're not late, you're right on time. You're not behind, you're becoming. Every step you take from that moment of gratitude is grounded, intentional, focused. Now, don't misunderstand me. Life will still throw its punches. Gratitude doesn't mean the storm disappears, but it does mean you show up to the storm prepared, rooted. And when you're rooted, you don't sway with every wind that blows. You don't fall apart when plans shift or expectations aren't met. You adjust, you endure, and you keep going. Because your strength doesn't come from what's outside. It comes from the power you chose before your feet even touched the floor. It's easy to wake up and let the day run you, to scroll, to stress, to rush. But it takes real discipline to pause, to breathe, to say thank you. Thank you for the little things, the quiet moments, the second chances, the lessons learned. Because when you start to see life as a gift, you stop taking it for granted. You treat your time like it matters. You treat people like they matter. You treat yourself like you matter. And that changes how you move in the world. There's a weight that lifts when you lead with gratitude. The pressure to perform, to impress, to be perfect, it loosens its grip. Because your worth isn't measured in accomplishments. It's reflected in awareness. And when you're aware, you see opportunities you used to miss. You find beauty in the ordinary. You find peace in the chaos. You find strength you didn't know you had. And that strength, it's contagious. It speaks louder than words. It inspires without shouting. It leads without pushing. And that's the kind of strength this world needs. People who walk into rooms and bring light. People who choose grace over gossip, presence over distraction, purpose over panic. Not because they have it all figured out, but because they started their day with a heart wide open, a heart ready to receive, a heart ready to give. So tomorrow, when the alarm sounds, don't rush, don't scroll, don't complain, pause. Take a breath and say thank you. Thank you for the breath. Thank you for the chance. Thank you for another day to try, to grow, to love, to live. That one decision, it just might change everything. When the sun rises, it doesn't ask permission, it just shows up, powerful, present, certain. And that's exactly how we ought to begin our days, not in a frenzy, not in reaction, not diving into someone else's urgency before we've grounded ourselves in our own purpose. That first hour of your day is a gift, and what you do with it will echo through everything that follows. Some people treat the morning like an afterthought, like it's just a space to scramble, to rush, to check emails, scroll feeds, and brace for impact. But the ones who lead, the ones who inspire, they treat that hour like it's sacred, because it is. They don't wake up reaching for distractions, they rise with purpose. Eyes open, heart steady, and mind focused. They understand something most people overlook. The world will always demand your attention, but you choose what earns it. That first hour is quiet, still. It's a rare moment when you're not performing, not reacting, not pretending. It's just you and the mirror, you and your thoughts, you and your spirit. And in that moment, you get to decide, who am I going to be today? That decision is not made in chaos. It's made in stillness. It's made in the pages of a journal, in the verses of a sacred text, in the rhythm of a morning run, in the silence of meditation. It's made when you slow down and listen, not to the noise outside, but to the voice within. That first hour is not about checking a box. It's about checking in with your soul. People who own the first hour don't let life just happen to them. They happen to life. They set the tone. They walk out their front door already filled up, already grounded, already ahead. Not because they're rushing to be productive, but because they took the time to align with something deeper than deadlines and to-do lists. They chose intention over impulse. They chose power over panic. But it's not about being perfect, it's about being present. About starting each day knowing that your peace, your clarity, your energy, they don't come from outside, they come from within. That phone buzzing on your nightstand, that can wait. That email, that can wait. The world will always be there with its chaos, its noise, its demands. But your moment, your sacred hour, that only happens once a day. And when you treat it with the reverence it deserves, the day doesn't run you, you run the day. Now let's be real. Life isn't always predictable. Sometimes the kids are up early. Sometimes the job calls before the sun even rises. Sometimes life throws you curveballs before you even get out of bed. But the principle remains. It's not about controlling every circumstance. It's about controlling your response. It's about carving out what you can, when you can, and fiercely protecting it. Maybe it's 60 minutes, maybe it's 15, but it's yours. It's sacred because you decided it was. When you choose to own the morning, something shifts. You start building your life on a foundation, not sand. You begin to attract more peace, not because life gets easier, but because you've become stronger, more centered, more intentional. The storms still come, but now you've got roots. And don't get it twisted. This isn't just about success. This is about survival. This is about sanity. This is about making sure you don't get swallowed up by the rush of the world. It's about remembering who you are before the world tries to tell you who to be. So wake up, not just from sleep, but from passivity, from distraction, from the lie that you're too busy to take care of your own spirit. You can't give what you don't have. You can't lead if you're lost, and you can't pour into others if your cup is empty. Own your first hour like it's the most important meeting of your life, because it is. Show up for yourself before you show up for anyone else. And don't do it halfway. Do it with intention. Do it with fire. Do it like your future depends on it, because it does. Every day you wake up is another chance to shape your destiny. So don't let that chance slip through your fingers. Don't roll over. Rise up. Stand tall. Start strong. And let the world adjust to your energy, not the other way around. Because when you own the morning, let me tell you something real, something simple, something that cuts through the noise. You can work hard. You can wake up early. You can grind till your hands are raw. But if you don't know why you're doing it, if you don't have a reason, a purpose, an intention, then you're just burning fuel. And it's only a matter of time before you run out. See, the most successful people, they don't wake up and ask, what do I have to do today? No. They wake up asking, what do I want to accomplish? What do I need to do to move forward, to grow, to build something that lasts? That's the difference. It's not about just filling up the day. It's about filling it with meaning. You know the difference between a to-do list and a why to-do list? A to-do list is reactive. It's noise. It's emails and errands and checking boxes just to say you did something. But a why to-do list, that's intention. That's fuel. That's clarity in a world full of distraction. Because urgency will lie to you. It'll shout and scream and tell you everything's important. But you've got to be stronger than that noise. You've got to pause, look inside, and decide what's important. You don't let the world set your priorities. You set them. That's power. That's discipline. That's how you get somewhere worth going. When you set intentions, real ones, you don't just think it. You write it. You don't just hope for it. You see it. You sit down and imagine the outcome. You hear it. You feel the weight of it in your chest. You bring it to life before it even happens. That's not just vision. That's commitment. And once you got that, once you've locked in, you move. Not aimlessly, not half-heartedly, but with direction, with intensity. Every phone call you make, every step you take, every word you speak, it all lines up. That's how momentum is built, not from chaos, but from clarity, from knowing where you're going and why it matters. Because here's the truth, energy is cheap. You can have all the hustle in the world and still be lost. Focus is what turns hustle into results. Focus is what makes noise into music. Without intention, your energy is scattered. You're spinning in circles, burning out without moving forward. But when you've got that focus, that fire behind your purpose, that's where the real power is. You ever seen someone who's locked in on a mission? It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's undeniable. They're grounded. They move like every second counts, because it does. They don't chase approval, they chase impact. They don't drift, they drive. That kind of presence comes from knowing why you are here. what you're about, what you won't compromise. So don't just chase busy. Don't just chase activity. That's not success. That's exhaustion. Chase alignment. Chase intention. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What does this lead to? Who does this serve? If the answer doesn't light you up, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's time to make room for something that does. Write it down. Your goals, your values, your non-negotiables. Put it where you can see it, where it stares back at you every morning. So when life gets loud, and it will, you remember your direction. You remember your mission. Because when you have clarity, you stop wasting time. You stop saying yes to things that drain you. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You get up every day and walk with purpose. You speak with intention. You live on your terms. This world doesn't need more busy people. It needs more intentional people. People who know their why and walk in it. So don't just move. Move with meaning. That's where your greatness lives. Quote, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You hear that and it sounds simple, but the truth in it is deep. You try giving your best to the world, to your work, your family, your dreams, but if you're running on fumes, if you're dried out and broken down, what do you have left to give? Nothing. And people will still ask for more. Life doesn't hit pause just because you're tired. The world doesn't stop turning because you're worn out. That's why those who rise, who last, who lead, those who build something that stands, they feed their body and spirit. They don't wait until they're empty. They don't wait until they fall. They fill up first. They understand that taking care of themselves is not selfish. It's survival. They hydrate, not just with water, but with intention, with purpose, with awareness that every sip is a choice to live better. They fuel not just their bodies, but their ambition. They don't eat for escape, they eat for energy. They stretch not just their limbs, but their limits. They make room for growth, for flexibility in the face of change. They breathe, not just in the physical sense, but spirit, deep, conscious breaths that say, I am here, I am grounded, I am alive. They speak life into themselves, not because it's easy, not because they always believe it, but because they know the world will try to tear them down, and if they don't uplift themselves, who will? Neglect your body, and it will remind you, it will slow you down to obstacles where there used to be clarity. It'll take the sharpness out of your thoughts, the steadiness out of your steps. And worse, neglect your spirit, and it will silence your voice. It will dull your passion. That fire you once had will flicker, fade, and maybe go out. That's the truth. And too many people wait until that moment to realize what they've lost. But the ones who build something real, something lasting, they start early. They don't see wellness as a reward, it's a requirement, a non-negotiable, a daily promise they make to themselves. I matter. My vessel matters. My soul matters. You want to build something great, you want to climb high, stay high and bring others with you, start with yourself. That's where it all begins. You can't lead anyone if you can't lead yourself. You can't teach anyone discipline if you haven't tasted it. You can't offer peace to the world if you're living in chaos. That foundation, your health, your spirit, your mind, that's your home base. That's the anchor when the storms come. And believe me, the storms will come. Life has a way of testing what you say you believe. It'll come for your time, your energy, your patience. And when that wave hits, you better have something inside you that doesn't break. That's why you build your strength, not just muscles, but resilience, not just endurance, but faith. You train not for comfort, but for the hard days. You build your discipline brick by brick, with every decision you make. Getting up early when you don't feel like it. Saying no when the easy answer is yes. Keeping promises to yourself when no one else is watching. That's how you grow. That's how you become someone others can count on. But most of all, you build your peace. You protect it like it's sacred, because it is. Your peace it's what lets you sleep at night, stand tall during the day, and love without fear. When you have peace, you don't need noise. You don't chase applause. You move with purpose, not desperation. This isn't luxury. This isn't a hobby for people with extra time. This is necessity. It's survival. It's how you stay ready when opportunity knocks, when challenge rises, when the moment comes that demands all of you. You don't want to get there empty. You want to get there full of strength, full of fire, full of vision. So fill your cup daily, deliberately, completely, because when you do that, you don't just survive, you overflow. You shine and you lift others just by being you. They speak into their future, not tomorrow, not when everything's perfect, not when the timing feels right. They speak now, in the middle of the storm, in the silence of uncertainty, in the chaos of the world trying to tell them who they are not. They open their mouths and declare it anyway, because they know power isn't in what you see, it's in what you say. Power isn't in waiting for permission, it's in choosing your identity and stepping into it. Boldly and unapologetically. You don't wait for motivation to come knocking. You don't sit around waiting for someone to hand you a reason to get up and fight for your life. You decide. You get up. You speak. I am focused. I am prepared. I am walking in purpose. You say it even when you don't feel it, especially when you don't feel it, because feelings are fickle, but faith will carry you through when sight fails you. Faith makes you move when fear tells you to sit down. See, some folks are waiting on a sign, a green light, a confirmation. But the ones who change the game, the ones who shake up the ground beneath them, they become the sign. They are the green light. They speak it until it takes shape, until the words form the very path they're walking on. They don't need the world to clap for them before they take a step. They clap for themselves. They don't need the crowd to understand their purpose. They know their purpose, and they speak it like it's already done. When you speak it, when you say it out loud, something shifts in you. Your body hears it. Your spirit stands taller. Your feet start to move in the direction of that truth. And you stop living like life is happening to you and start living like life is happening through you. That's a different kind of walk. That's a different kind of power. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. Every morning, before the world has a chance to name you, you name yourself. I am focused. I am prepared. I am walking in purpose. You say it again and again until your thoughts align, until your choices align, until your actions reflect the very truth you spoke into existence. You don't just hope to be successful, you declare it. Because success isn't a performance, it's a posture. It's not something you chase, it's something you live. It's easy to talk yourself out of your own greatness. Life will give you a million reasons to doubt. But one word of belief can silence 1,000 voices of fear. So when you speak, speak with intention, speak with authority, speak like you know who you are and whose you are. Because there is something holy about speaking your truth. There is something powerful about walking like you already own the ground beneath your feet. You might not see it yet, the breakthrough, the opportunity, the answered prayer. But don't let that stop you from speaking it. Don't let what's missing today keep you from stepping into what's already been promised to you tomorrow. There is a difference between wishing and walking. And the ones who walk even before the doors open, those are the ones who live not just with vision, but with victory. Faith without action is just noise. But when you speak and then move, when you declare and then dare, that's when you go from dreamer to doer, from hoping to knowing, from maybe to I will. Because purpose isn't passive. You don't stumble into it, you step into it with eyes forward, with shoulders back, with a voice that refuses to be silent. So say it. Say it like you mean it. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it becomes the mirror that reflects who you've been becoming all along. Not who the world told you to be, not who your fear convinced you are, but who you were created to be. Speak it, even if your voice shakes. Speak it, even if the room stays silent. Speak it, because somewhere in your words lies the spark that will set your path on fire. You are not waiting for greatness. You are walking in it. Speak that, live that, be that. So now I ask you again, how will you start your morning tomorrow? Will you hit snooze on your greatness? Or will you rise into the calling that's waiting for you? Because success doesn't begin with luck. It begins with choice, a choice you make before the world even sees you. Make it count.